Well, it's very simple. I think that, since I'm going into leadership, it is very important that I learn about the industry, not only in Ghana but worldwide. And I realized that, in 2016, we had 26,000 polling centers. And out of that 26,000 polling centers, it was also open for registration. So people had 26,000 spaces to register. Some of them have to walk half a kilometer just to register. Okay, now in 2020, they increased it from 26,000 to 33,000. And 33,000, it's maybe 7,000 more slots or spaces was added to it before they were able to register the people who were coming in. And 2024, funny and for some reasons, they closed all these registration places and turned it to 258 of offices that belongs to EC. And then they have like 2 or 3 tables as constituencies. So in total, they're saying that they have only 1,068 for registration, which amounts to only 3% of what has happened in the past 4 years and 3 years. But here's the catch, right? I asked myself, why have they restricted everyone? Then I looked at the days. It said 7th to 27th. That's 20 days. So I checked England, I checked America, I checked Nigeria, I checked the world. But everybody is a year and they only close maybe a week or a month before election, because they need the time for people to register and to educate them about democratic rights. So they need to understand that their voting rights is what determines the future of the country and the leadership of the country. So that is the very important part.
So they should open up and allow more time.
I want to just land, okay? So I realized that why have they closed all the slots? Why is it not like before? And then when I added the days, I realized that no, this is not right. It's not impossible, because here's the calculation I did. All right, so you have 1,068, okay? That 1,068, I personally went to some of the registration places. It takes between 15 minutes to 20 minutes to register one person, meaning that in an hour, we have 3 or 4 people being registered, okay? When you times that by the 1,068, in a day, you're registering between maybe times 8 hours, basically. You're registering maybe between 26,000 to between 18,000 to 26,000. That's if everything works perfectly. Now, when you do the 18,000 numbers and multiply it by the 20 days, you can't go more than 172,000. That is the capacity to do the voting. So I started to question myself, why? What are they restricting? Guess what I found out? So in 2020, there were people that turned 18. 2021, they became 19. 2022, they became 20. 2023, 21, 2024, they're 22. Out of these years that I'm talking about, you've had millions of kids within the 4 years that have come into the system who are eligible to vote. Why are we restricting them? Why are we stopping them? Why are we going to close the borders and let them struggle all the way for another 4 years till they get to 23 before we start educating them about our democratic rules that constipates the country's regulation and its constitution?
The EC has targeted 600,000 within 21 days, and so far they've done over 500,000. Do you know, based on all the analysis you've done, that the number is supposed to be more than 600,000?
Well, you can check yourself.
No, have you checked?
Well, I have.
And it's supposed to be more than 600,000?
I have. So
how many people do you estimate should be registered who are going to be disenfranchised?
1 minute. So, first of all...
No, if you have a figure you're working with...
I won't be able to give you the exact figure.
Can you give it to me?
No, I won't. I won't be able to.
But you see, the EC works with numbers, and they say this is how many people,
with
based on the Ghana Statistical Service data, this is how many people they expect to register. You don't agree. So do you have a contrary number?
Well, I have a rough estimate.
And what's that estimate?
And I have an estimation. I've given it to you.
So it should be more than 600,000. What should be? Millions. How many millions?
Millions. You know what? So let me give you a statistic.
2 or 3 millions?
No, please, relax. Are you
I'm
trying
fine.
to get...
I'm fine.
Relax.
So 600,000 is what the EC says.
This is
you
what
are
the
saying
EC
millions.
have said.
So you're saying
Don't
millions.
I have the right to say what I'm saying?
No. If your rights are not based on facts, then it's pointless, right?
Okay, fine. So I'm giving you my facts.
When you say millions, how many millions?
What I'm giving you my facts. And if you
so
can take
your
your time and listen...
No, just mention a number.
Listen, I am not an institution like the EC that can just give you a number, take it or leave it. 20 days and 253. Register it. It's going to be 623,000.
Okay.
It's going to take the youth to sit there and say, okay, it's fine now. Okay. They've said it, so we agree with that.
Cheddar, we need to go, but I have a very important question I need to ask you about.
I still want us to talk about the EC because I think it's the most important thing.
No, you've made your point. Then the petition is out there, so...
The petition is out there.
Yeah,
but you have just tried to end the question by saying that what the EC is saying is fine now. Because they are the ones that. That's what
I'm saying that if you, to the extent that you do not have, to the extent that you do not have a contrary figure, I don't know what we should debate about.
But I did have an estimate.
You just said millions, and I'm wondering how many millions.
I just have an estimate. Okay?
And the estimate is millions. Millions is big.
No, statistically, 74.9% of this country right now is 0 to 45 years. Okay? That is 3/3 of this country. Okay? If we don't get these people to register and educate them about their votes, and we close them, that is one. They are not going to understand, and we're not going to have the right numbers for election. That is one. Two, do you know that in this whole country, everyone that have voted before, except if you have registered in 2020, your voting registration card does not exist. So even if you haven't done that, you cannot vote.
Okay.
Are we being educated about it?
No
is it out there? Do you know about it?
Yes, they are doing education.
They're doing education about it?
Yeah, they are. I have a question for you. You are a real estate guru. You've heard of Saglemi housing. If you were president, what would you do to Saglemi housing?
Well, I would have probably continued wherever it was left off. I mean, Cloconus, Andrew, may his soul rest in peace. He died, and we don't know the source of his death. But this young man studied about pre-engineered homes in Vienna. I remember he told me his story before. And he's half Brazilian, half Ghanaian. He studied over 8 years. He could have used that technology to go to Brazil, but he brought it to Ghana. And he brought some contractors, OAS, with him. And they started a project. They did 1,500 homes. For some reason, it was in a different regime of politics. When the next regime came to power, they refused to touch it. So it was there, and it started, growing weeds. Okay, so I think that for me as a leader, I don't see why, if I started something or if someone else started something that is positive, because we don't belong together in the same party, it should be deserted. This development should be for the nations. It shouldn't be for the parties.
They plan to give it to private person to continue. Is that something you would agree
I am not interested. I'm not interested in something that they have watched it grow weeds and people have died over and they haven't turned it out to be anything. I'm not going to carry that burden. Right now, you know what I'm interested in? I'm interested in securing millions of jobs for the people in this country who cannot work and have the daily average income to survive.
Okay.
I'm interested in developing this nation because I've developed some for myself, and I've realized that it's not good to be wealthy alone and surrounded by poor people. This is my interest. My interest is now to develop a nation. My interest is to build a country. My interest is to add value to society. My interest is not go into any political something that has been left over years and is destroyed, and I should go and do the hard work of something that could be easily resolved. I don't have interest in that.
Nana KwameBediako, aka Cheddar, aka Freedom Jacob Caesar. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.